The Mill and the Floss by George Eliot was published in 1860 and was her second novel. The story is about Maggie and Tom, a brother and a sister who live on the River Floss in a mill, and there's some political disputes over who gets to own the mill because the father is in debt. Follow them through their childhood up until their later teen years. Some of this book feels mildly autobiographical because George Eliot was actually disowned by her own family because of her unconventional relationship with her husband. I say husband because, yeah, they were husband and wife, but not legally because he was already married. Essentially, the two relationships Maggie gets pulled towards during this story are not approved by her father, and her father is a big patriarchal figure who's very selfish. Ignorance is something that rubs off on the brother Tom, who ends up being honestly the main villain, at least from my interpretation of the story. Hence, the book functions as a massive fuck you to gender roles, playing out as a tragedy in order to demonstrate how oppressive they are. The tragic ending is honestly symbolic of the way that there is literally no escape for Maggie, and no matter what she does, she cannot win. I interpret the ending as the siblings only being able to reconcile within death because the society that they are in makes it literally impossible for Tom not to be a somewhat ridiculously ignorant, selfish, patriarchal figure who just does not give Maggie the time of day. It felt very abrupt. I understand why George Eliot wrote the ending this way, because it felt like the only way it could have been resolved because of how there's just this massive block on all the characters that prevented them from developing beyond the midpoint of the story, honestly. At random points, I'm glad that Lucy becomes more of an ally rather than the object of jealousy, but I do think as well her complete goodness felt a bit unrealistic, and at times Maggie did feel a little bit like a Mary Sue-ish tragic character. Plays a massive role in the story because one of the love interests, Philip, has a humpback deformity and everybody just treats him like shit over it all the time. So it really is a study of how restrictive and oppressive small town, small village provincial life was in the early 1800s, and it was very well written, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Middlemarch at all. So I can't say I would recommend the book over Middlemarch, but I definitely enjoyed a decent amount, especially some of the very intense conflict scenes between Tom and Maggie, which just felt like Eliot was venting so much there, and it felt very real and raw. And that was The Mill and the Floss by George Eliot. Have you read it?